Hello everybody. So today I'm quickly going to build a little solar node here, but this time I'm going to build it Meshtastic solar node, but this time I'm going to build it with a proper solar a proper processor or a proper node, which is a Heltec T114, which is an ESP32 based processor. And I'll show why that is so much different than using a S3 or ESP32 S3 processor. To show the difference between the two, the main difference is the power draw. The T114 draws 13 milliamps and the S3 draws 94 milliamps idle. And that is a huge difference between the two. Meaning, as shown in the previous video, the S3 would last 25 hours on a 3500 milliamp battery, and the T114 would then last almost 200 hours on the same battery. That is a huge difference. What I got here is my standard 3D printed case. I use this case all the time. With its little cover, so that's sort of standard. But so features of this case is I've got a hole at the bottom here where I mount a fan. So this little fan actually draws out air, and I've got a little bend over there so that holes over here so that the air comes in. It circulates and then is drawn out by the fan. It doesn't directly just go, from the in to the out. So we've got that. Then I've got a little hole here where I will put my wires through for the fan. So typically I would just mount the little solar panel directly on here. And that little solar panel really drives the fan. So that's completely independent of the solar node or the Meshtastic stuff. This is just for airflow. This small panel drives this fan. And when the sun shines, then this little fan starts spinning. But what I've done differently with this node is, you'll see I've got four little connections there, or four little holes there in this case, and I created this little, which I'll call a cover. And this cover, you can see at the back, has got some ventilation or fins to do some ventilation. And so what I'm going to do differently this time is it actually clips directly onto there, and I'll glue that together. But so I'll put a little solar panel this time on here. So the plan is that the solar panel goes on here. Then there's a literal air gap with these, let's call them fins, to get rid of the air and or the heat. And the solar node itself, the little box, is in the shade. So where typically when this is directly on there, all the heat transfers from here directly into the case, whereas now it would go through, this would heat up with a solar panel on there, and the sun would be hitting this area with the solar panel, but then it has this air gap and these fins to dissipate the heat, and then that and then inside this box is where I'll put the little solar node. So that makes I think will make a big difference, especially here in Florida. And then of course the box at the back closes with this. So the first thing I have to do, of course, is at the top here is where the antenna goes out. And I just love these type N connectors, and that's also the type of antenna I have. And why I love these is oops, why I love these is it's got this little rubber seal on the bulkhead end connector. You can see there's like a red rubber seal there. So when you put it through there, it seals. You know, it really seals the you know, the hole or whatever. So that goes through there, and it seals it, and that rubber gasket pulls on against there. So I really like that. So I'm going to go ahead and start building this. So this is the first thing that goes in is the little antenna of a bulkhead for the antenna, the type N antenna. Now, so I'll tighten that in a second here, but it's nice that it pulls it. You can really tighten it up, and it pulls that rubber gasket against there, so that seals this top part. I still need to put a little sunk in for the screws. I'll do that. That's the back cover. I got to mount the fan, which I'll do now, and I got to mount the solar panel again on the front side here, this way around, I think. There we go. Got to mount that, and then I also put in the electronics, and this is the electronics that I have. You will see that the electronics is you know, it's a T114. This one's still got its screen on top of it. I can take the screen off, it doesn't matter. And then I've got a INA 219 just to measure voltage and current. And then I got a charge controller on here. And then of course a battery holder for a standard 18650 battery. This is a 3500 milliamp hour. So you know, on the blog post on LoraMeshDevices.com, you will see the diagram for this electronics. So go check that out. But let me get this going. Let me start first by mounting the solar panel. Then I'm going to do the sync of these little screws, and then I'm going to put the electronics in, and then and the fan, and let's get that going and see how it goes. But here's all the parts that I'm going to use. It's a case with this you know, solar shade protector, plus the little solar panel for the fan. That's totally independent. Then you know, the type N connector, and then the electronics. Let me get all of this mounted in here, and we see how it looks. Positive and negative soldered. Okay. Now, you know, if you put it on there, you can see the two little holes over two little, you know, connectors coming through there. There's positive and negative. You can see them. Okay, I'm just going to put a little bit of silicone under this solar panel just to fasten it. So a little drop there and a drop there. There we go. It's hard when you do this, try and do this on camera, but whatever. There it is. Make sure that it's, get the excess off there. Make sure that it's somewhat centered. There we go. And you know, just for what's his name's sake, I'm just going to seal this side as well. Seal some with silicone there, and seal some silicone there. Just so that I know those won't rust up. Right. Now the next step would be to then get this guy mounted on here, you know, onto the onto the case. So I am going to get some super glue. I think everybody knows super glue, and I'm just going to put a drop in each one of these. There a drop, there a drop, there a drop, and there a drop. Man, that's actually more than a drop. Okay, and then I'm going to put this whole little panel on top there, and I'm going to clip it on there. Okay, you guys stay at the back there. Let me get this clipped on there. Boom. There we go. It's all clipped on. Right. And I'll again put some silicone over there. So let me let that dry a little bit. And we'll start, while I'm here, might as well start sealing the fan over here with some silicone. There we go. The fan's got a little bit of silicone now to keep it there. And then I want to seal the hole for where the fan comes in, the wires from the fan comes in. So I sealed that. Fan, everything okay. No, we should get no leak over there. No leak at the back there. This is siliconed in. This is glued on. If I now shine this in the sun, I've got to straighten this out a little bit. If I show this in the sun, the fan will start spinning, and that's just the air cool to get the airflow inside the box going. So let me let that dry a little bit, and then I'll take it from there. Okay, right, next, that's now on there. I let this dry a little bit, so I think it's good now. I've sealed the little fan with some silicone. I tightened that, put some silicone still around there just to make sure there's no leaks. Right, so next is to sink in these little, let's call them screw socket caps, hex socket head cap screws, and then these little holders which goes into the plastic, and then you can tie them. So how I do that typically is I'll put one on a long screw like this, and I'm going to heat this and then press it into the plastic so that it holds. So I have my little lighter over here, my handy dandy lighter, and I will heat up this little socket, and when it's heat, I press it into the plastic and sink it in. So that's sort of it there. There's one of them done. So let me do the other 4 quickly, and then we can we can tie it down with the cover. We'll be able to screw that on there. So let me do the others quickly. Right, there we go, all 4 of them in there. I'll let that cool down a little bit before I take them out, but you can see that all 4 of them now sunk in there. You don't want to let them dry or let them cool down and it's skew, so you want to make sure it's right. But it's these little, that's the stuff I'm using for there. Now, back to the electronics while that cools down. Again, I'm using a T114 over here, which is this little guy, and I've got connected to that, you'll see there on the I2C or IC squared port, I've got an INA 219. Now that's optional. I'm only doing that so that I can see the current draw. So that's totally optional. And then I've got a separate charge board over here, and that's also optional. Actually, the T114 has a built-in charge controller, and you can see it over there. So, but I just like building it like this, so that that's separate from the Heltec. So you know that you know, and again, the schematics is on the site. So let me get the electronics. I am now going to mount the electronics inside of a case. So give me a few minutes on that. Let me get all the electronics in there, and we'll look again. Okay. Right, I've now mounted all the electronics in there. The T114, the INA 219, the battery holder, the charge chip, the type N to IPX. I plugged that into the board. The fan is in there with a little solar panel to drive a fan. The sunk in, those guys are there. What's left to do now is really just you know, connecting this up to my antenna and inserting the battery. Of course, this has to be flashed and all of that. There we go. I hope you guys can see this. Actually, I have one that I've already got the little cable tie holders on there. Let me loosen this and loosen all of this. There we go. So these are cooled down now. So they are stuck in there. You can see the little sink-ins for the screws is there. If I put this on there, I can now just you know, tighten them, and you know, 4 of them. So that's the complete unit then. Antenna goes there. Let me get it onto the antenna and insert the battery. You never want to insert the battery before you connect the antenna, because you will burn the radio. So let me go do that next. Let's get it onto the antenna, and then I can seal it all up. And yes, of course, I forgot something. How's this going to charge? That's why this little hole's at the bottom here. I feed a USB cable through there. There's my little USB cable that plugs into this little, you know, this type of USB solar panel. You can put straight voltage onto these chips as well, but since I got this USB, I'm just going to feed in a cable from there and connect that up to a charge controller. So we can actually see it go red over there. So, and I'm going to seal this quickly, just this part where the cable comes out. You know, this stuff's at the bottom. Rain shouldn't affect that at all. You know, rain doesn't go up, it goes down. But let me seal that up. I forgot about that. That's connected, and then we'll hook up the antenna, which I have a cable for that over here, and we'll hook that up and get it going. So a few more seconds. Right, so there we go. It's all connected. I'm going to insert the battery over here to get things going. I've connected the antenna. Let's see. If that starts, we can see it starts flashing. We see the Meshtastic over there. Again, I've left a screen on there. I don't need the screen on there. But, you know, this node's already been flashed. And, you know, you'll see the video about power usage. But that's it all put together. It will, and I've put the screen timeout to 10 seconds or something. This little solar panel will charge it. And I can seal it all from the back here now with these little sunk-in screws that I've you know, put in there. So I'll do that next, and then I'll take it outside and we can start seeing if this works. So hang in there for a second. And then it's always, of course, a good idea to make sure that it connects. I can see it's called Heltec T114 solar, and now there's all the other nodes. It's already seen that. That was flashed separately, the board. I know it works. You know, if I let's just try and ping something over here. We do a trace route to my main router, and we can see 6.5, 6. So it's good connection. The antenna is working. Everything seems good. The only thing now is to get it out there and onto the roof. It's on this temporary board over here, and I got to go mount it at the top now so that we can start using it. So again, this little solar panel drives the fan that's inside. This cover is over the box that houses, so the sun would hit this box or this cover, and at the back of this there's some vents to take some heat away. Then the box is behind that, the enclosure. The enclosure's got the fan in that will circulate air over the components, and that's about it. And then the solar panel is zero. I'll actually put a little bit of plastic protector over this cable so that that doesn't get perished in the sun when I mount it. So let me do that and get it mounted, and we take it from there. Actually, the protector stuff I'm talking about is this. You buy this like a plastic, and you can put it around the cable, so that just fits around the cable like that, and so everything that's exposed to the sun, I would put that there so that if the sun hits that, it heats up that plastic and not the actual cable. So let me just tie this all neatly and get it mounted. So thank you for watching, and we'll speak soon again.